Hi everyone and welcome to my talk. My name is Sara Delgado Rodriguez and I'm happy to present our paper, Do You Need to Touch? Exploring Correlations Between Personal Attributes and Preferences for Tangible Privacy Mechanisms to you today. This is a joint work with my amazing co-authors Priyasha, Ann, Florian and Carola. In the current era of ubiquitous computing, many sensor-enhanced devices are becoming parts of our daily lives and our environments. These devices can invade our privacy by collecting, for example, video or audio data. That is why in recent years, extensive research has been carried out to support people in protecting their privacy from such sensor-enhanced devices. And the proposed mechanisms here span a continuum ranging from purely digital, which means completely software-based mechanisms, like for example smartphone apps, such as the IoT Assistant from Feng et al., to purely tangible privacy mechanisms. These mechanisms are completely hardware-based, like for example privacy shields or webcam covers. However, related work found that users are strongly divided in their preferences for tangible or digital solutions. Therefore, the question arises, who favors tangible mechanisms and who does not? So for this paper, our goal was to explore how personal attributes correlate with people's perception of tangible privacy protection mechanisms. And to do this, we first set out to get a better understanding of both the most relevant personal attributes and the properties of tangible privacy mechanisms. So concerning people's attributes, related work describes that demographics affect privacy behavior and concerns. Important attributes here are, for example, age or gender, then also the general or specific expertise with technology and a person's trust in technology. Also, personal privacy and security concerns and attitudes are important attributes. And finally, since we are here investigating tangible mechanisms, users' perception is also very likely to be affected by their preferences for tangible interactions. Next, we searched for definitions of tangible privacy in related work and found that such mechanisms can be manipulated or perceived through touch, so they involve some kind of tangible interactions. They can also increase awareness on possible privacy intrusions, and they can distinctly communicate their state and are intuitively verifiable. And they are also physical objects and thus physicalized representations of the abstract concept of privacy. So we distinguish between users' perception of these properties in our research. To create a common understanding in our participants of what tangible privacy mechanisms are, we decided to present a few examples of such mechanisms to them. And we focused here on very well-established tangible privacy mechanisms that are likely to be familiar to a large portion of the general population. So to collect some examples of such established tangible privacy mechanisms, we conducted a group discussion. And we invited here participants who are persons that were aware of privacy risks associated with sensor-enhanced devices. And our participants came up in total with 19 different mechanisms, which could be distinguished first of all because they protect different kinds of data. So for example, they might protect visual and auditory data, as well as the physical identity or state of the user. They can be also in different locations. They could be, for example, on the device itself, on the user, or distant from both. We then selected 8 distinct examples for our research, which were voting booths, floor distance markings, dressing room curtains, pin pad privacy shields, webcam covers, headphones, sunglasses, and remote controls. We then designed an online questionnaire that captures all the previously mentioned personal attributes, but also participants' opinions on the 8 selected mechanisms and their overall perception of tangible privacy. We made use of standard scales from related work whenever possible for our questionnaire. We also implemented simple visualizations to present the 8 tangible mechanisms. So each visualization consisted of 2 illustrations, one showing a situation without the tangible privacy mechanism and the second one with the mechanism. And then users could switch between both illustrations just by clicking on a button. We used the online platform Prolific for our study. In particular, we used the option to recruit a sample that is representative of the US population in terms of gender, age, and ethnicity. We then filtered participants who either filled in the questionnaire too fast or failed at least one of our attention check questions. And this left us with 444 participants. With our study, we aimed at answering the following 3 research questions. The first research question concerns people's personal attributes. So the question was, which personal attributes correlate with people's general perception of purely tangible privacy mechanisms? The second question addresses details of participants' perception of tangible privacy mechanisms. The question was, how do users perceive the different properties of purely tangible privacy mechanisms in general, and what differences and similarities in users' perception of the presented purely tangible privacy mechanisms can be observed? And the third question combines the 2 previous ones. It was, which personal attributes correlate with people's perception of specific properties of purely tangible privacy mechanisms? I will now present some of the most interesting results of our study. Please refer to our paper for more details on our results. So addressing research question 2, we found that participants felt overall neutral towards being able to touch tangible privacy mechanisms. However, they think the mechanisms have a positive effect on their awareness and that they are very easy to verify. They also indicated a slight preference for tangible privacy mechanisms over non-physicalized, purely digital alternatives. Moreover, a principal component analysis indicated that awareness and verifiability items of our questionnaire measure the same underlying latent variable. Participants would use privacy shield, voting booths, dressing room curtains, and webcam covers to protect their privacy. They were also convinced of their performance and preferred them over digital alternatives. However, they were not convinced of the protection provided by sunglasses, distance markings, and remote controls. To investigate correlations between personal attributes and perception of tangible privacy, we applied a linear regression analysis. And we found here, first of all, that participants' privacy-related previous usage of the 8 mechanisms correlated positively with their perception of all investigated properties of tangible privacy. Also, participants' need for touch was related to their perception of multiple of the properties of tangible privacy. Moreover, we found that participants with higher technical affinity had a larger preference for touching privacy mechanisms. And people with a larger trust in technology or larger propensity to follow security advices perceived awareness and verification properties of our mechanisms more positively. And surprisingly, and in contrast to assumptions made in related work, we found a negative impact of participants' age on their preference for tangible over digital alternatives. Our paper concludes with design recommendations for future tangible, digital, or mixed privacy mechanisms. In particular, we recommend that future privacy mechanisms aimed at the general population should consider tangibility, specifically to increase awareness and enable easy verifiability. We also believe that the acceptance of future privacy mechanisms will evolve gradually with increased and more widespread usage. We also recommend to measure the need for touch of targeted user groups and developing privacy mechanisms for expert users that incorporate tangible properties. And finally, we also see a need for future research targeting older persons and people with little trust in technology. So to recap, we conducted an online survey with 444 participants to explore correlations between personal attributes and perceptions of tangible privacy mechanisms. And our key findings were that participants overall especially appreciated tangible privacy mechanisms' ability to raise awareness and verify that their data is protected. Moreover, the personal attributes most broadly related to participants' perception of tangible privacy are first of all their previous privacy-related usage of such mechanisms, and second, also their personal preference for touching objects. And last but not least, the affinity for technology and security positively impacted opinion on privacy mechanisms. So for more details on our work, please refer to our paper or write me an email. And thank you so much for listening.